And Donald Trump's conviction has put the spotlight on rules in the U.S. on voting by convicted felons. Well, 9 of its 50 states impose lifetime voting bans on those who are convicted. One of them is Florida. Mr. Trump resides at his Mar-a-Lago estate there, and it's where he's registered to vote. More than 1 million people in the state are barred from voting because of felony convictions. But because of Florida's laws on felony convictions that happen out of the state, he'll still be able to cast a ballot in November. And there's no law that prohibits a felon from running for president or serving in office. But because his convictions happened in a state court, Trump cannot pardon himself if he becomes president. That right only applies to federal crimes. All right, joining me now is Brendan O'Connor. He is a professor of U.S. politics and U.S. foreign relations at the University of Sydney, and he joins me from Sydney. Good to have you with us, sir. There's so much to unpack here, and everybody's still kind of coming to grips with this verdict. How do you think this may play out over the next couple of days and months?
Obviously, a major drama in the American news, huge international interest. But the big question is, will it change any voters' minds? Is there a group of Trump voters who thought they would support Trump before this guilty verdict? The opinion polling suggests there's a very small number of people who might fall into that category, whether they are people in the most important states in the United States where this election in November will be decided. It's very hard to tell, but I think most people have already kind of got a very strong view of Trump, and this conviction isn't going to profoundly change opinions.
All right, so you believe that this does not rule out his chances of becoming the next U.S. president, potentially?
No. I mean, I think people are pretty aware that Donald Trump plays pretty fast and loose with the truth, with the law, his relationship with women, many would question. So I think these things are already well known. And this verdict will not surprise a lot of people in the United States. It's historic because he's the first president to be charged with a felon offense, but I don't think it will profoundly change the election outcome where Trump is at the moment ahead in the polls.
What do you make of the reaction from the White House and the GOP?
Well, the Republicans, and if you look at the sort of Fox News outlets and whatnot, are presenting this as a conspiracy led by the White House, that this is orchestrated offensive against Donald Trump to stop him becoming president. The White House itself, I think, wants to see this as something that it can use in the campaign, but not overplay. If it was to put all its eggs in the basket of Trump as a felon, you can't elect him, I don't think that would be a successful strategy. The White House has, I think, got to convince American voters that the economy is recovering. I think that's a real vulnerability for Joe Biden. So as dramatic as the scenes have been in New York today, there is a sort of popular culture element to this which might not translate into voting.
Now, come July 11th, when the sentencing will take place, what are the chances that we could see the former president of the United States be sent to prison?
Well, I think for many people that's a delicious thought. And to see Trump run behind bars, I don't think that's a huge possibility. It is possible. He can still run for the presidency from jail, but I think it's more likely he'll have serve his sentence in the community. He won't be put in jail, but this will hang over him for the next couple of months, and I suppose will create a kind of frenzy on the Trump side, his legal team making all sorts of spurious claims about this being, attempt to push the election to Biden's side and something which is a conspiracy against Donald Trump.
And he's got even more legal woes. Brendan O'Connor, thank you so very much for joining us. Greatly appreciate it.
My pleasure.